Hello and welcome to Designer Discussions with Jason, Mirjam, and Maria. Today we're talking about how AI will impact the interior design industry.
Welcome to the Designer Discussions podcast with
Jason,
Maria,
and Mirjam. Tune in each week where we talk about marketing, PR, and business advice for design professionals.
Are you ready to get serious about marketing your interior design business? Our Designer Discussions Marketing Studio offers a series of in-depth, actionable, and done-for-you content to guide your marketing, PR, and business development. We want to help you transform your business and elevate it to work with your dream clients. Go to designerdiscussions.com/marketing studio to get started.
Thanks, Jason. So I know a lot of interior designers are wondering, what is all of this AI going to do for or against the interior design industry? And today I want to talk to you about some of the ways I think it's going to be good and fun and help you to tap into your imagination and create some things that will allow you to be the source of inspiration. And I think you're going to actually like it. I think you're going to, and today might be more of a lesson than just a podcast. So if you are interested in learning how to use these AI programs, I recommend that you save this episode so that you can reference back to it, because I'm just going to give away how to use these programs today on this episode so that you can try it out and be successful right off the bat. So what is AI? AI is artificial intelligence, and AI is machine learning, and AI is quick and easy. And what it can do is based on the data and the information that it gets. So for example, if you're an interior designer and you have someone's existing kitchen and they need it redone, AI cannot do that for people. It just can't. Unless they want it to be farmhouse and only the color is black and white, might be able to create a couple of images that would help them, but it isn't going to be able to generate something from a creative level that would actually problem solve. So is AI going to make interior design obsolete? Absolutely not. And in fact, I asked AI if it felt like it was going to change the interior design industry, and I'm going to tell you what AI said about it. While AI image rendering has certainly become a valuable tool for the interior design industry, it is unlikely to completely take over. Interior design involves not only creating beautiful visual designs, but also taking into account function, comfort, and an overall feel of the space. While AI image rendering can create a realistic 3D visual of design, it cannot fully replace the creative expertise of a human interior designer who can work with clients to understand specific needs, preferences, and bring their vision to life. And I agree 100%. It doesn't understand construction. It doesn't understand scale and size. I was telling Jason, it doesn't really even understand ethnicity. So if you're working with these high-level design programs, if you want to see people of diversity, you really have to say a distinct person. So if you're creating portraits in these AI programs and you're wanting to see more diversity, you would have to pick a person of diversity and ask for them to be drawn so that it learns that you can have people of different skin tones created in certain images to give a look and feel. Okay. The stuff I can create with it is so beautiful. If you happen to look at my social media, it's DesignAppy. You will see AI images that I created. And this is how I want you to start thinking about it as a creative tool for you. This will be able to create some branding things for you didn't even know existed. Okay. So say, for example, today I was on this call with Jason and Mirjam. I created some photorealistic images that have a slim Aaron's feel of home interiors. Okay. I was trying to get more of like people in an interior design appointment, but it was close enough, right? It was something to start with and something to kind of build on. And you can start to see how you can pick a look or a style that's super stylistic and have the program continually create for you images. And these are things you can use on proposals. You can import them into Canva, and you can use them for really anything you're going to be doing. And gosh, it's really quite fun if you understand how to do it. So that's why I said today, maybe this is a save. Come back to it whenever you have some time and you're interested in starting to learn these programs. But what I'm going to teach you is how to talk to these programs to get what you want. So first off, just like I can't tell it that I want to see people of diversity and of color in the images that it creates for me, and I have to pick a certain person and ask this to look like that person, you have to understand that the computer program understands concepts based on quantity. The more of something that exists, the easier it is to get an image to look like it. There are a lot of data points that come from high volume content. So, for example, if you were to ask for an Architectural Digest quality image of a restoration hardware living room with a plant in the corner and a white sofa and white walls and white drapes, you're going to get that. And you will get a decent looking picture. You will get something you can use on your blog, something you can use in your social media, right? Say you want to like poo-poo ugly kitchens with like cottagecore. And you're like, oh, today I've decided I'm going to pick violence. And today I'm going to be angry at cottagecore design. So instead of picking someone's image and making fun of it, you could just create a fun image that you could make a reference to, right? You could be like, today I'm just not feeling cottagecore, and you could have an image of cottagecore. And once again, you're not stepping on toes and you're not getting into a copyright thing, right? Or maybe you want to say, I don't like cottagecore, but I'm loving this new take on cottagecore, right? So you can start to create concepts that you didn't know existed. One that I found that someone had created was a Rococo rodeo. So imagine the streets of Venice, but with dirt and horses that are teal and people with cotton candy hats running around an arena. And that is the quality of the image that's available. That has so much more dynamic flair than a typical interior design image. Even an image of a bathroom you've recently done, you know, you could say, but what I'd really love is to have something like a piece of art like this. This is what's inspiring me. I think this would make a beautiful little girl's room. Someone who's really into horses, but has like a glam feel about her, right? You will be able to make your design brand more consistent by using AI imagery. You will be able to personalize it. And since it only takes a few seconds to create 4 to 5 images, and you can kind of pick out one and build on it or use all of them, it's not going to take you that much time to create those images. And once again, it's automatic social media content, automatic pinnable Pinterest images. I mean, think about how many more Pinterest images you could make if you were to use something like this to create design aesthetics. You know, you could even create the rooms that you want clients to look at to say to you what their aesthetic is, right? And you could make up your own aesthetics. So there's all of these concepts that we could dig into. But the most important thing for you to know is that you do have to know how to talk to the AI to generate what you want. And if you've never opened it up and looked at it, there's DALL-E, and then there's Midjourney. And Midjourney, I believe, is the more complicated to use program that you learn so much more that you could use it on one of the more simple to use programs. I know that's sort of complicated, but it's true. Because what happens with Midjourney, it's a Discord. You have to download the program Discord, just like your video gamer kids. So reach out to your video gamer kids and get them to teach you how to be set up on Discord. Then you'll access Midjourney in Discord. And it is a live chat, just like if you have Slack or something like that. What happens is you'll have a person enter in what they want for their image. Then that image will be generated. And then you'll enter in what you want to have for your image and it'll show up. And they quickly move up the list, right? Because this program is just cranking out images and you're in a room with people that are all asking for it. What's cool about Midjourney is that you're in a room with photographers, cinematographers, and video game creation people. I know you're asking me, Maria, how does being in a room with these three types of people impact what AI can generate? So your cinematographer people are going to be asking for things in cinematography format. Your photographer people are going to be asking for images and quality of photography. And your video game people are going to be asking for items in a quality of video game. Our industry is limited by its rendering programs, right? We're limited to Rivet, QHome, and AutoCAD, our image quality, and then we dump it into Photoshop, right? Well, that is similar to how the photographers and the cinematographers talk about an image, except they'll say, I want a camera quality, I want a lens type, I want Vogue style. You'll have a cinematographer say, I want wide angle. I want it to have a grainy texture. I want it to be captured on a type of film. So you will see descriptions that have around 14 requirements. Okay. And I'm going to cover why and which kinds of ones you'd want to have access to. So Midjourney teaches you by watching others. So as you see an image come across your screen that is gorgeous, then you can save that image and you can copy the description that was used, save it in like your notes app because it should be a paragraph. And then when you save it, you will learn about new artists, new film, new photography styles, and requirements even for video games that will allow you to create the image quality that you want. I post on social media about the images that I'm creating, and the common response is, I can't get it to make that good of a picture. I cannot get it to give me that quality of an image. And the recipe of that is AI is as good as the information it is given. And these creation of images are exactly that. The more information it is given, it needs to know kind of how it's being looked at, how's it being cropped, how is it being lit, what's the background, how deep is the person in it, how far in the image is the person, what's around it, what are the colors, what's the space, right? It needs all of that information. You can't just hop in there and say, I want a restoration hardware style room and an architectural digest quality image with a plant in the corner and really start tapping into creativity. You can high quality produce super simple images that way, but they are not tapping into your creative genius. Okay. So what we want to talk about is tapping into that creative genius and leveraging AI to create a more fabulous, a more remarkable, a more interesting version of you and your brand and what you could do. right? So let's start off with, how do you communicate to create higher quality images? And just in case you're wondering, you can pay $700 and there will be a person that will walk and talk you through this, but we're just going to do it for free over the podcast because I like to give away stuff for free. So number one, you need to select your genre. And your genre needs to be something that is so much of it that when the computer scans and looks at the images on the internet, it can figure it out. I like to use film producers because I feel like cinematography can give me a wider variety of images. Some people will use high quality portrait photographers' names. For example, a Slim Aarons style image, pink umbrellas, black and white checked pool or decking, and then you could say everybody's wearing gigantic hats, and you can sort of build on it. Amalfi Coast. You can start to create unique and interesting images of spaces and styles that maybe you're not working on. Maybe you currently don't have an Italian villa that you need to do an exterior consult on, or maybe you don't have a beautiful house in Mexico that you are redesigning a pool for. However, you can still talk about, I went to this place. If I was to redesign it, this is what it would look like. Okay. You can start to build a little bit more of a risque portfolio with your concepts that don't limit you to your client. So number one, I need an artist, and that artist can be anyone. So you really want to find these prompts that people are using, the artist that inspired the image, okay? Their look, their genre. And once again, you can use like restoration hardware, but I think that's not exciting, right? So you've got to have that historical record of image. Number one, select a genre. Could be Slim Aarons. It could be restoration hardware. Number two, you need to tell it it's the colors you want to use. And when I say colorful, that will give you primary colors of the rainbow. So you'll start to see and learn how it understands and interprets words, because you will have each color of the rainbow will be represented in a colorful image. Neon will give you really saturated and bright colors. If you want kind of more deep colors, you just have to start to learn what it hears quality. So you have to select colors. 3, use references of interior design styles. It likes that. It likes Japandi, Scandinavian, dark academia, minimalist. You can really like tap into design aesthetics. I honestly don't think that it can do maximal very well at all, but you can like super easily just talk about what would be maximal to you. Would it have lots of brass? Would it have really large light fixtures that have a look, wallpaper that has birds on it, a statue of David in the corner? Whatever it is, the more information you give it, the more likely it's going to get you where you want to go. Okay. So 4, wallpapers can be talked about. Antique rugs on the floor can be talked about. Checkerboard floors. So you got to talk about the surfaces. What is it working with on the surfaces? So you need to talk about, what is the ceiling? What are the walls? What is the floor? And then you have to kind of give it an idea if the ceilings are high or grand, or if the ceiling, if you're in a barrel, if you're in a rotunda, or if you're in a house, right, with small walls, small, cozy, you've got to use words that describe low ceilings. If you're in low ceilings, if it's a 2-story volume, you need to say it's a 2-story volume. Number 5, you've got to specific out what your accessories are going to be in your images. Some of my favorites are to use plants and fruit. Animals look a little weird. It just doesn't do a great job of creating animals. I mean, if you say, I want segment Weimaraners, you will get really beautiful Wegman Weimaraners, okay? Because it understands Wegman and it understands those dogs, and it can pull from its database what one of his dogs looks like and how close in they are, and how he uses those animals. But in accessories, talk about like, what would you have? Plants? Would you have fruit? Is it glamorous? Is it large scale? Is it exotic fruit? So you will want to talk about what are some of the accessories that you would expect to see in the space. 6. This one is a good example. I tried appliances, and then I asked for Big Chill appliances, and Big Chill is that retro vintage sort of look, and it's a smaller brand. Totally, it didn't get it. It's like, I don't even know what that is. But if I said modern appliances, I got stainless steel modern appliances. And if I wanted something vintage looking, I got some cheesy looking grandma hokey pokey stuff. So you can kind of hammer down where you're going with your design by tapping into these like large spectrum, multiple image things that you're working with. Number 7, do you have a window? Are there a lot of windows? Where are the windows? Do you have a skylight, right? All of that information is the data that it would need to kind of help you to create it. I've even tried saying, I have a refrigerator to the left of a sink. There's a window above the sink, and then to the right is a range. And it's like, it takes its own creative liberty with it, and it's not going to position everything where it's supposed to go. Number 8, you really do need to talk more about like flooring. Does it have a rug on it? What kind of rug? Is it just a brown fuzzy rug, or is it like a beautiful woven velvet rug that is Turkish, right? So you got to start kind of leaning into giving it the level of detail. 9. Once again, you've already told it what it's on its surfaces. You also have to say what kind of volume you're working with. Is it big? Is it a large volume, or are we working with a small space? And then 10, lighting. So lighting is actually the most important thing. You could be describing a room and you could be perfect in describing that room, but you will get an ugly image, and you will get an ugly image because you don't tell it about lighting. So like I said, on social media, the majority of comments are, I've tried using that program, but my image is detailed enough and they're kind of ugly and they're dark. That's because you have to have a very distinct description of lighting. And I would recommend, this is where Midjourney has this additional bonus feature built in. When you see an image come through and it's lit in the way that you want it, if we're doing restoration hardware and Architectural Digest, it's going to know what the lighting looks like in that image. But if you're wanting to build something from scratch, you really have to start looking at other people's descriptions, and the people who understand cinematography and understand photography will start talking about what lens is being used and what the ISO is and what the focal length is. They will use camera settings to create the lighting and the depth of the image. Okay. That's how detailed you can get. Okay. So lighting, super important. I'm looking at images that are being created. If you're curious about how to find descriptions that work, I'm going to give you a big honkin' secret. Here's the big secret. Search me. Search DesignAppy on Discord. You will see every image I've created, and you will see what the prompts are that I'm using, and you'll start to see what the results are from those prompts, and then copy and paste these things in your notes. You are welcome. I'm just telling you, I just saved you a million minutes. Next, you're going to want a depth of rendering image quality. So you can say things like, I want it extremely detailed. I want it very complex. I want it hyper realistic 4K. And then you reference the software that you want it to look like it's created with. if you want it to look like it's been taken by a camera, or if you want it to look like an AutoCAD drawing, and then it will create it in that look and feel. So once you reference the software that's creating the images, it will create it to look like that. So if you find someone who is using, they want to create like a video game quality, you'll find what the words are to reference those softwares. If you want something that has like that grainy film characteristic to it, you'll find photographers that are specifically asking for it. You can copy and paste that data into your notes app, and then you can go and it will create it to look more, you will have more control over that image. Number 12, there are photographers that are in link running. Okay. They have already given you the details on how to describe the camera lens, the ISO, and all that stuff already in there, and the quality of lighting. They're talking about soft box lighting, lit from a window, coming in from the left, heavy shadows. They're already telling you that information so that you know how to create those types of images in the future, because Midjourney is giving you the prompt and showing you the image both at the same time. And you will be able to figure out what is the type of camera and lens being used. And then just like in Canva, if you're wanting to create social media posts, or you're wanting to create a Facebook post, you have different ratios of image. So you might have like an 8x8 for Instagram, just you need a square, but you might need something more horizontal where you'll see a ratio in the description. You'll see like a 4x12, it'll be a 4:12 ratio. And that's, everything's just a comma in there. And you'll see that as one of the last things at the bottom. And then you'll know how to get the shape and format that you want. And then number 14, if you want the camera to be super close, or if you want the image to be really far back, that is going to be based on a cinematic crop. And there are a few diagrams online that you can look at that will tell you what the description is of that cinematic crop. And if you don't know what cinematic crops are, you'll see those being used in some of the descriptions that other people are using to predicate how far back you are or how close you are to the camera. Because whenever you reference a genre reference, a second person, so maybe you're hybriding two concepts together. And if one of them is like a photographer and they shoot all of their pictures in a certain way, you will get kind of like that photographer's crop and depth, but maybe in someone else's artistic style. But you can look up like cinematography, framing, and understand how close the camera comes to the object. And then these grids, when you find them online, will help you understand if you want to pull back in your images that you want to create or move forward. And I know this all sounds like crazy and hard, because you just heard 14 words that you need to include into the description. But like I said, if you go and you follow me on Discord or you search me, all you have to do is search for the words DesignAppy. You will see full descriptions and you will see how they're being used. And I'll elaborate a little bit more. So say, for example, we talked about what are the accessories? What is the lighting like? What style are we working with? You can say Vogue, you can say Gucci, you can say those types of things. And they can't create hands well. The hands will have like 7 or 8 fingers and they're all the same length. Like we don't have like hands with like varied length fingers, and you'll have like some weird things. And so you can tell them that they're wearing gloves, like beautiful silk gloves or something like that. And then that way, at least you can kind of get the hands out of the images to make them look a little bit nicer. So you just really want to lean into brands. You really want to lean into artist types. You want to lean into people who have very in-depth established careers with a large portfolio of quality of imagery. And if you can lean into those things, you can create these funky things. Just Rococo Rodeo with a cotton candy hat with a woman riding on a teal horse. you can start to build on these ideas and these concepts for what it is that you would like to have as additional images for social media, website, proposals, and just even your portfolio. I have been at ASID functions and I have seen people win awards for their design concepts for rendered spaces that they have, designed and created. So don't assume that because something is not built, that it doesn't have some quality within the industry and people's perceived value of you. All right. So I know it's new. It's definitely not going to take your job because nobody wants to work with your clients. So think about, how would this work for you? Have you ever thought about designing wallpaper? Ever thought about designing a pillow? Have you ever thought about having something that was super customized for your business? You could ask for a logo and you can ask it to create a repeatable pattern that is of certain colors that has certain objects on it. And it would probably get you far enough along that you would just need a graphic designer to take your concepts and move them along in the design development phase. But at least you could have 20 or 30 concepts thrown together quickly and easily to look at and discern exactly what direction you want to go. So I'm excited to see whatever you make. So tag me if you're using AI, just tag me in your social media posts. And so I can see what you're creating, because I do know that y'all have the capacity to create some really amazing things. And I think y'all might like this a lot and up for embracing something new. I believe these programs will allow you to create inspiring images that will help motivate and move your clients forward.
Awesome. This was a great episode, Maria. We appreciate all the information you provided there, and we hope to hear you all here in 2 weeks on Designer Discussions. Are you ready to get serious about marketing your interior design business? Our Designer Discussions Marketing Studio offers a series of in-depth, actionable, and done-for-you content to guide your marketing, PR, and business development. We want to help you transform your business and elevate it to work with your dream clients. Go to designerdiscussions.com/marketing studio to get started.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Designer Discussions and all of the helpful information. Subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and share it with your friends. We look forward to having you back next week. For more information on the podcast and the marketing studio, visit designerdiscussions.com and follow us on social media.